Jake Miller was alone in the forest, enjoying the silence. He had set up a small camp near a river. The night was cool, and the stars were bright above him. A fire burned gently, and Jake was boiling water for tea. He was calm, unaware that something was watching him from above. Suddenly, a strange sound came from the sky, a low hum that made the ground shake. Jake stood up, alert. He looked up and saw a massive, dark shape hiding the stars. Lights flashed, blue, green, and white, spinning in circles. Before Jake could run, a beam of light shot down and surrounded him. His body froze. He couldn't move or speak. His teacup dropped to the ground. Then, in a blink, he was gone. Jake opened his eyes. He was no longer in the forest. He was inside a strange glass room. The walls glowed blue and the floor floated like a cloud. Outside the glass, tall creatures with shiny skin and long arms stared at him. They spoke in a strange language, clicking and buzzing. Jake was breathing fast, confused, but he kept his mind calm. He had training for this: unknown places, danger, survival. Then he noticed something that made his heart stop. Across the room, behind another glass wall, there were more cells. One of them had a human skeleton inside. Jake realized something terrible. He was not the first human here. But he might be the last one still alive. Jake sat on the cold floor of this glass cell. The room was silent, but he could feel eyes on him. Every few hours, the aliens returned. They wore metal suits and carried glowing tools. Without saying a word, they pulled Jake into another room. This room looked like a lab. Machines beeped and flashed. One alien pressed a device to Jake's head. Another poked his arm with a long needle. A third scanned his body from head to toe. They tested his strength, his pain, and even his memory. Jake didn't scream or fight. He let them think he was weak. But inside, he was learning, watching how they moved, where the tools were kept, and what buttons they pressed. They called him names in their strange language, words that sounded like animal and simple. The aliens laughed at him, but Jake smiled quietly. He was waiting. During one test, a small part of a broken machine fell to the ground. No one noticed. Jake slowly moved his foot over it and slid it into his boot. Later, back in his cell, Jake examined the metal piece. It was sharp and thin, just enough to help him break the lock on his collar. He worked for hours, careful and slow. When the lock finally clicked open, he didn't cheer. He only whispered 4 words: "Time to fight back." The ship was quiet during the sleep cycle. The lights dimmed and the halls emptied. Jake waited for this moment. His collar was gone, and he had the metal piece hidden in his boot. Tonight, he would begin his escape. He studied the cameras and guard patterns for days. He knew when they passed and which corners were blind. Using the metal piece, he unlocked a small panel in his cell and crawled into a tight air vent. The vent was dark, hot, and full of dust, but Jake kept moving. He found rooms he had never seen, storage areas, empty labs, and strange chambers. In one locked room, he saw something shocking: alien weapons. Blasters, energy blades, and armor lined the walls. But the door was sealed with a code he didn't know. He marked the room in his mind. He would come back. Later, Jake entered a control room. Screens showed different parts of the ship. He watched recordings of other humans being taken. Some fought, some cried, none returned. The aliens had been doing this for a long time. Jake downloaded a map of the ship into a small tablet and escaped back to his cell before the lights turned bright again. But as he crawled through the vent, he made a mistake. His foot hit a loose pipe. It echoed through the walls. An alarm went off. Jake's heart raced. They knew someone was loose on the ship, and they were coming. Jake ran through the dark vent, heart pounding. Red lights flashed through the walls. Sirens echoed across the ship. The aliens were searching, and he had little time. He turned a corner and dropped into a dark, cold chamber. This room was different. No glass, no lights, just silence. In the corners, something moved. Jake raised a sharp metal piece, ready to fight. But what he saw made him stop. It was a prisoner, but not human. The creature was thin with silver skin and deep blue eyes. It looked weak and near death. Chains held its arms and strange burns marked its body. Jake whispered, "Are you alive?" The creature blinked slowly. Its voice was soft, almost musical. "You are human. I have seen your kind before." Jake was shocked. "You speak English?" "I learned," the alien said, coughing. "Long ago, I was taken like you." Jake gave the creature water and listened. The alien told him about the Xorvians, conquerors who kidnapped beings from across the galaxy. They tested them, broke them, and used them. Most never escaped. But there was hope. The alien revealed a secret. The ship's AI core was old and had a weak spot. If damaged, it could shut down the whole ship. Before dying, the alien handed Jake a glowing map. "Free them. Destroy this place," it said with its last breath. Jake closed the alien's eyes. Now he had a real plan. And a reason to finish what he started. Jake sat in his cell again, calm on the outside but burning with purpose inside. The map from the dying alien showed him everything. Security points, power lines, the AI core's location. He studied it while pretending to be broken. Soon the alien leader came to see him. Tall, with black armor and glowing eyes, the Xorvian commander stood in front of Jake's cell. "You are a weak animal," the alien hissed. "You will not leave this place." Jake looked up, silent for a moment. Then he smiled. "You kidnapped the wrong species." The alien growled and walked away, laughing. Jake's mind flashed back to his military training. How to think under pressure, how to fight without weapons, how to survive alone. He remembered missions in the desert, cold nights in the jungle, and the friends he lost. That pain didn't break him. It made him stronger. At night, Jake moved. He had hidden tools, pieces of wire, and the map. He crawled through vents and tunnels. Finally, he reached a control panel. Using what he had learned, he caused a blackout, shutting down lights and alarms on half the ship. Guards shouted. Systems glitched. The ship was confused. Jake returned to his cell before they noticed. When the lights came back, the aliens were angry and alert, but they didn't know who did it. Jake whispered to himself, "Step 1, complete." They still thought he was just a test subject. They had no idea what was coming next. Chaos spread through the ship. Systems were failing. Doors stuck open, lights flickered. The aliens rushed through the halls, shouting in panic. Jake used the confusion to move. He left his cell and followed the map through a service tunnel. He reached the weapons room he had seen before. This time, the power was low. The door was open. Inside, glowing weapons hung on the walls. Jake grabbed a small blaster, tested its aim, and took a knife-like energy blade. He didn't understand all the tech, but he learned fast. He moved like a ghost, silent, fast, deadly. A guard spotted him. Jake fired. One shot, and the alien fell. He reached the prison level, where other species were locked in cells. Jake broke open every cell he could. Many prisoners were weak, but when they saw Jake fighting, they stood up. One by one, they joined him. A riot began. Prisoners attacked guards. Drones crashed. Explosions shook the ship. The aliens were losing control. Jake made his way to the core chamber, the heart of the ship. But as he got closer, the floor trembled. A voice came from the speakers. "Warning, ship is off course, entering planet gravity." Jake's eyes widened. The ship was falling. He had a choice: escape now or finish what he started. He looked at the map, then at the freed prisoners behind him. Jake made his decision. He would take the fight all the way to the heart of the enemy. Smoke filled the halls. Sirens screamed. The ship was falling fast toward a nearby planet. But Jake didn't stop. He ran toward the AI core room, leading a small group of freed prisoners behind him. Each one held a stolen weapon. Their eyes burned with the same fire: revenge. They reached the core chamber. It was a tall room, glowing with blue energy. At the center floated a spinning black orb. The the ship's AI brain. If Jake destroyed it, the ship would shut down. But waiting for him was the Xorvian commander. "You should have stayed in your cell," the alien growled, drawing a long blade. Jake stepped forward. "You shouldn't have touched Earth." The fight was brutal. The commander was strong, fast, and skilled. But Jake was smarter, tougher, and angry. He used every trick he knew, dodging, countering, striking with speed and power. Finally, with one final move, Jake stabbed the alien with the energy blade. The commander fell. Jake turned to the AI core and uploaded a virus he created earlier. Lights flashed red. The ship groaned. Systems failed one by one. Jake and the other prisoners rushed to the escape bay and launched a stolen shuttle. As they flew away, the alien ship exploded in the sky behind them. Later on Earth, Jake stood on a quiet hilltop, looking at the stars. He sent a message into deep space. "This is a warning. Humans are not your prey. We are the storm." The Xorvians made one big mistake. They took a human.